Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here, and today we have a battle of a winning streak going up against a losing streak. The fire types are 6-0 and the pony timbers have lost their last 4 games, but they are coming in with the type advantage, and will that work in their favor here today? Let us know in the comments below who you think will win. Do you think it'll be the motorstock engines or will it be the pony timbers? Let's go! Now the ground types are actually sitting in 16th place as they start out with Mudsdale and Great Tusk, but it'll be Cinderace and Salazzle starting out for the motorstock engines, who are currently on top of the leaderboard. And immediately with that Shell Smash, Cinderace is going to change into the normal type. It's going to lower both of its defensive stats, but it is going to give a boost to that attack, both physical and special, as well as its speed. Mind you, it is already the quickest Pokemon on the field, but it has that 116 base attack, so to get that boost in nice and early, but it will become an easy target for the Timbers, as that high jump kick onto Great Tusk from Salazzle will connect, but Great Tusk, not liking that, goes for the whirlwind, sends Salazzle back to the bench, and Arcanine comes out in its place, being dragged out onto the field as Mudsdale goes with the Rock Smash, and that is super effective on a defensively lowered Cinderace. Great play there, who responds with the Judgment though, and that Judgment comes down hard onto Mudsdale, but with that stamina ability it does get a defense boost, but it is such an easy target now, and Arcanine with the Discharge will not affect either Great Tusk or Mudsdale, but it's gonna hit Cinderace, and Cinderace is eliminated by its own teammate Arcanine with a massive fail there, and now takes damage from that stored power, not doing much damage at all. But Mudsdale is gonna follow it up with the Sand Attack, trying to lower the accuracy of the Fiery Pupper, and out back comes Salazzle onto the field, who now has the speed advantage. Immediately with that Bleak Windstorm, it is avoided by a Great Tusk, but it will finish Mudsdale off, leveling the playing field. But now we are down to 5v5, both sides having lost one Pokemon, and Arcanine is going to go for the Icicle Spear, this multi-hit move, trying to capitalize on that Park Ground typing that Great Tusk has. It's got 3, and that super effective move will hit 3 times, as Great Tusk is going to respond with the Astonish onto Arcanine. They're doing minimal chip damage to Arcanine at the moment, as out comes the Terastallizing Dunsparce. And immediately it is going to shed that normal typing. It's now going to be a ground type Pokemon. As I've mentioned in previous games, every side has a terrestrial Pokemon that they can choose to use in battle if they wish. Salazzle though still with that speed advantage, and immediately going for the Sweet Kiss now onto Great Tusk. This is going to leave Great Tusk confused, which is really good if it does damage to itself, so that's a very intelligent play. Arcanine looking to follow it up here with the Thrash. That first hit onto Great Tusk, this is a multi-turn consecutive hitting move, but Great Tusk is confused. It doesn't want to do damage to itself. It does shake off the confusion, goes for the spin out onto Salazzle. Not very effective due to that fire typing, and it is going to lower the speed of Great Tusk, but it is already slower than the 2 fire type Pokemon, as the Magic Room is played by the Dunsparce. So everyone's held items do lose their effects, and every Pokemon in the PokeType League does have a Leopard Berry, as that attack order gets a critical hit onto Dunsparce, and Arcanine continues the thrash and gets the elimination of Great Tusk, taking it out of this matchup, putting the motorstock engines in the lead for the first time in this matchup. But now Arcanine is left confused due to the fatigue of that thrash, and now the Dunsparce is going to go with the Fury Swipes, but it is avoided by Arcanine. Arcanine being the one though who's had its accuracy lowered, not that you would think so, as Hippowdon comes out onto the field and immediately kicks up a Sandstorm with that Sandstream ability. And now a Heal Pulse from Salazzle going for Hippowdon, who is at full strength, so you do not want to help out the other side. Don't know what Salazzle was thinking, but Arcanine needs to shake off this confusion. It is successful, and it's going to go for the Gyro Ball, doing very little damage to Hippowdon, as the Grass Knot onto Salazzle. Not very effective there from the Dunsparce. Hippowdon looking to follow it up there, going with the Mean Look onto Salazzle. So Salazzle can no longer escape, and it is also going to take damage from that Sandstorm, as will Arcanine. The ground types have nothing to worry about. They are basking in this Sandstorm right now, and the Play Rough onto Hippowdon. Hippowdon taking hits here with that massive 118 base physical defense. That Throat Chop doing a little bit more damage this time from Arcanine, but the Hydro Cannon onto Salazzle from the Dunsparce. Super effective, gets the elimination, levels the playing field. These sides are going back and forth right now, and then the Dragon Darts onto Arcanine. Critical hit on the first one. There will be a second one from Hippowdon, and Arcanine still in this matchup, but it is also going to take damage from the Sandstorm. It is still in it though, as it is joined now by Iron Moth, who's now the quickest on the field, immediately going for the uproar. That is a fantastic hit onto Hippowdon though, as Iron Moth has caused an uproar. Arcanine could follow it up with the Shadow Ball here, but it goes for the Dunsparce, who is able to avoid that attack, as the Dunsparce has to recharge after that Hydro Cannon. That tickle from Hippowdon is going to lower those physical stats of Iron Moth, who is more of a special based Pokemon. It has 140 base special attack, 110 base special defense, very special base. So Arcanine may only be in this matchup for one more turn due to that Sandstorm, as Iron Moth continues its uproar and takes out Hippowdon. Eliminations happening quick in this matchup, and Arcanine with the Iron Defense, it does not need to boost its defense right now because it will surely be eliminated by this Sandstorm if the Dunsparce doesn't do it first, as it goes for the Axe Kick and takes Arcanine out of this matchup. These sides are bringing it to each other today, as Iron Moth is taking damage from the Sandstorm still, and it is continuing to cause that uproar, but it is going to be joined by Typhlosion, and out comes for the Pony Timbers Donphan. Iron Moth though with the uproar, this time onto the Dunsparce, continuing that great damage. Typhlosion looking to follow up with the Claw Blast onto Donphan, but Donphan has that sturdy ability, so it endures the hit, and there is huge recoil damage onto Typhlosion, as the Dunsparce with the Hyper Beam, and Typhlosion is eliminated. The Dunsparce capitalizing on that recoil damage, and Donphan with the Flare Blitz onto Iron Moth. Not very effective, but it does huge damage. But Donphan gets the recoil, and due to that sturdy, it had minimal health left, and it is eliminated. We're down to the last two Pokemon for these two sides, as the Sandstorm has subsided. Iron Moth has calmed down, and it is now joined by Houndoom, and out comes Palisand for the Pony Timbers. Now Houndoom with that Unnerve ability will make it so that the Timbers cannot eat their Leopard Berries, but the close combat onto the Dunsparce, it holds on after that hit from Iron Moth, as Iron Moth has lowered its defense and special defense here. Houndoom is going to follow it up with the Lick though, and the Dunsparce is taken out of this matchup with that 1-2 combination. This is where the Motor Stoker engines start to really build that momentum, as Palisand is all by itself, as that Sun comes back out onto the field, and Palisand with the Fury Swaps. That first hit, critical hit onto Iron Moth. The second hit gets the elimination. Iron Moth is taken out. It is a 1v1 battle, and Palisand has that ground type advantage, but Houndoom has the dark type advantage over Palisand's ghost type, and as the speed advantage as it goes for the Bug Buzz here. Gets a good hit there on Palisand, even though it wasn't a very effective attack. It did get that critical hit. Now Palisand responds with the Darkest Lariat. Not very effective, doesn't get a great hit there. Houndoom though, still with that speed advantage, going for the Confuse Ray, trying to make it so Palisand will do damage to itself, which is fantastic, because if it's doing damage to itself, it will eliminate itself from this matchup. Palisand needs to shake it off, though it has no one to back it up here. And Palisand, unfortunately, does do damage to itself in its confusion. Always very unfortunate to see that. And it's followed up with a Stun Spore from Houndoom, trying to make it so Palisand can't move. So it's got to try and shake off the confusion. It's got to try and shake off the paralysis as well, trying to make it immobile here. Palisand is going to be able to shake off that confusion though, and goes for the rest. This is really intelligent, because it is going to get rid of that paralysis status condition and restore itself back to full strength. Unfortunately, it will be asleep, which Houndoom can capitalize on, setting up a Tailwind. It's already quicker than Palisand, so that is an unfortunate mistake there by Houndoom, as Palisand is still fast asleep on the field, snoozing away. And this time, Houndoom with the Flare Blitz. Great hit there onto Palisand. There is a bit of recoil damage for Houndoom. We saw that pay off earlier for Donphan, practically sacrificing itself though when it used its Flare Blitz. Houndoom continuing to capitalize on the sleeping Pokemon, but goes for Zap Cannon, which doesn't affect Palisand due to its ground type, and it is immune, and it's woken up and it's snapped out of its confusion. Perfect timing for Palisand, as it's going to go for the Reflect type, so they are both now fire dark type Pokemon on the field, and Houndoom with the Rock Blast, but Palossand's able to avoid that attack, and Palossand is going to go for the high jump kick, and this will be super effective, and Houndoom is eliminated. The Pony Timbers have ended the winning streak of the Motor Stoke Engines. They have lost their first game of the season, and the Pony Timbers have also ended their 4-game losing streak to move themselves up into 15th place. And next round though, they will be going up against the Striaton Greens, so they will not have the type advantage. Whereas the Motor Stoke Engines, who are still first on the leaderboard, will be going up against the Olive Iron Carbons, so they will have a type advantage next round. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.